you just had a show a couple weekends ago. I think there was like 60,000 people or 70,000 people.
75.
75,000. How in the world can you look at your booth packed with people and go, you know, and be able to understand the skill set of identifying somebody who's really going to be engaged and that you can put your time into, because there might be other people that would be not the best people to spend the time on, I guess.
Yeah.
Tell us how you do that.
Yeah, so one of the ways I do that is I make sure to engage everybody. So no matter who walks up to my booth, I'm friendly to them, and I usually point out some aspect of what they're wearing or their clothing or anything like that of, hey, I really like that, that's beautiful, because everybody picks out their clothing and that's kind of an expression of who they are. So we want to assume rapport and we want to open on a positive note. So I instantly engage everybody that walks up, and then when I started my business, I kind of identified my target clientele more or less. Like, hey, here's the images I like to shoot, and here's how that typically fits. So for me, that's like 35 to 55 or 60-year-old female professionals who enjoy the outdoors. So if somebody walks up who might fit that avatar, then like, hey, that's kind of my target clientele, because I know that you're going to enjoy the brighter colors and some of the presentation of my work, and probably have that money to spend along the way. So, and kind of like what you hinted at, that is the core of everything, is telling the stories and focusing around that, because a lot of my pieces, I do a fair amount of traveling, but I've found out that lately it's all about the stories and the connection. And for me, that means selling local pieces that people can connect to, because people really want to showcase their local area or landscape or wildlife from different areas. Like, hey, you think that's a cute bear regardless of where it's from, then like you're gonna connect with that. So do you want to get into my booth layout a little bit?
Let's do it, yeah.
Okay,
I'll
perfect.
follow your lead, Andrew.
Yeah, sweet, awesome. If we go to this slide, we can kind of look at my booth layout for a second. So like I mentioned, kind of walking up to my booth is, I want my booth to hit you, go, holy crap, that's awesome, and walk up to it, and then we connect on the stories a little bit more. So a few things are going to go into that. You're going to have your desirability of work and your presentation-ish. And the reason I put presentation-ish is because if you have a phenomenal product, like, people are probably going to find a way to buy that regardless. But you know, most of us, like, we're kind of dealing in the middle ground. Like, people can like buy your product or, you know, not buy your product and go home either way. They're going to be happy. So then we have the ability to engage clientele. So walking up and making sure everybody feels welcomed and at home. And then your personality. When I got into the booth world and kind of like more photography sales, because you do definitely need to be in sales when you're in photography. A lot of photographers might brush over that, but you really do need to get into it. People are buying you just as much as they're buying your product. And one of my good friends told me that when I started, and that stuck with me. Your pricing is also super important. And if you'll notice, looking at my booth, there are no prices on the walls. And I do that very intentionally, because I want I want the pricing to not influence what you think of the work. Because if you walk up and you're looking at a piece, then you're thinking, oh, hey, I love that piece and it's $410, and you're instantly doing that back and forth on the piece. And if I'm talking to you, I don't have your full attention. You're instantly kind of going back and forth on the pricing of that piece. So I try to delay that as much as possible, and I do have some pricing, a pricing sheet up there. And I kind of want to push that. I want your full attention. Everything about my booth and sales in general is about like connecting with you and kind of keeping around that. And then one last thing that I put in there as well is customer requests. Everybody always gets on like, hey, I sell this and only this, in very black and white. But I would also advise you to be open to customer requests. So if you were to walk up to my booth and you just got back from a vacation in Cabo or wherever you're going, right? What's one thing that you might do with your phone?
Oh, I want to show you where we were at.
You want to show pictures where you were at.
Yep.
So naturally, being a photographer, I get a bunch of people showing, hey, check this out, check this out. And they're like, hey, your work is great, but can I put my photo on there and get it printed to my house? And first I thought, well, like, maybe not, right? But then I thought, well, why can't we do that? Like, that's perfect. So that's one thing I started offering is if clients come up to me and want to print their own work on metals and stuff like that, I'll definitely do it for you. So that's been really fun because then we can keep that high energy and that conversation going. And you know, I can make a little bit of money on submitting the order and drop shipping it to their house and making sure that, you know, the resolution and using like Topaz gigapixel or anything to upscale it. Everything looks perfect. And because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing is we're solving problems for the client.
Right.
And your client's going to come to you with problems, whether that be, hey, I want headshots and maybe you don't do headshots right now, or hey, I want this printed on some metals and I don't know how to do that. If you can figure out a way to solve problems for your client, you create win-wins across the board, and that really pays off well.